Most of these water striders were captive bred right here in this aquarium. Hi, I'm Russ of Aquarium X Pets, and in today's video I'll talk about my water strider breeding project. This is my aquatic insect aquarium. I keep a variety of insects, crustaceans, mollusks, as well as several species of aquatic plant in here. Many of the insects came from bugsincyberspace.com. One of the questions I am often asked about my aquatic insects is whether they would breed in captivity. Well, for some species we're still working on that, but for others the answer is yes. I have kept water striders, also known as pond skaters, a few times, but this is the first time I have bred them. Back in late July, I collected about 6 individuals, most of which were still nymphs. They matured quickly on a diet consisting mainly of flightless hydei fruit flies. You may have seen the feeding video that I made not long ago. Breeding water striders is apparently quite simple, quite possibly the easiest of the aquatic insects to breed. Provide plenty of water surface, as well as some floating cork bark, and or other haul-out structures upon which the water striders can lay their eggs. Feed them well, and wait. Only about a month after collecting my original stock, and keep in mind that most of them were not even mature when I collected them, I noticed a number of minuscule water strider nymphs on the surface of the water. You can see them in comparison to a hydei fruit fly here. They are tiny. Though they started out very small, the captive-bred nymphs grew quickly, just like their parents did. At least one of the babies is now an adult, and the others should be adults in about a week or two. If you want to breed your own water striders, here are some tips for you. The adults, and even the older nymphs, do not hesitate to prey on hydei fruit flies, but the younger nymphs don't seem to be capable of tackling something so much larger than they are. Fortunately, before mine produced nymphs, I had conferred with Peter at Bugs in Cyberspace about how to feed them. Peter works with and sells a wide variety of species for the pet insect hobby, including many aquatic species of insect. He explained that the young nymphs will feed on live springtails or pre-killed melanogaster fruit flies, which are much smaller than hydei. For several days, I froze melanogaster fruit flies before offering them to the nymphs. They readily fed on the dead melanogaster, which float on the surface of the water. After a couple of molts, the nymphs eagerly took live melanogaster fruit flies, and soon enough, they would take the hydei fruit flies. In order to successfully raise the nymphs, you don't necessarily need to separate them from the adults. I didn't. But in addition to feeding the nymphs frequently, make sure to provide the parents with plenty to eat. It seems likely that the larger water striders will prey on smaller ones if they get too hungry. Feed them well at least once a day. As I mentioned, I use mostly hydei fruit flies for the adults, but I have offered other insects as well. Something that floats on the surface of the water and moves around quite a bit ought to do the trick, such as appropriately sized crickets. The adult water striders can take insects quite a bit larger than the adult hydei fruit flies. If you have a little bit of duckweed growing in your tank like I do, that's fine, as long as you don't let it grow too densely. However, water striders don't seem to do well if the duckweed covers a lot of the water surface, which it does tend to do rather quickly. If you don't take steps to prevent that, it could be a problem. In this tank I have a giant water scavenger beetle and a mystery snail, both of which are known to eat duckweed, and they seem to be preventing it from taking over quite nicely. I think I've come up with a great name for water strider nymphs. I say we call them striderlings. I kind of love that name, and as far as I'm aware, I made it up. Let me know what you think about that name down in the comments. And thanks for watching today. I post videos every Friday with live streams once a week as well, all on aquarium and vivarium pets. Please feel free to share, rate, comment, and if you haven't already,
subscribe.
And then tap the bell for all notifications so you don't miss my next video. Did you know that water striders have pre-apical claws? These are claws that aren't found on the terminal end of the leg like tarsal claws are. They are along the side of the leg like those on the raptorial forelegs of a mantis. They're a lot harder to see on the much smaller water strider, but apparently they've got them, and for the same reason mantids do, to grab and subdue their prey.